Well, welcome back to the S10 project. I'm going to give you a brief update, kind of let you know where we are and where we're going. All right, so before we get into the updates and talking about what we're doing to the S10 to get it going, I want to do a quick PSA. I encourage you, please do not swipe away. Please do not fast forward. Listen to what I have to say. I'm trying to save you the aggravation of what I'm going through right now, and it's quite maddening. I don't know if you know what tinnitus is. Tinnitus is a ringing in the ears. It's constant, it's persistent, and it doesn't go away. And at times in the past, my tinnitus has been very low, very minor. It was able to ignore it, just put it out of my head and not even think about it. It's just a light buzzing, ringing in the ears. Well, for whatever reason, over the last few days, my tinnitus has ramped up, and it is loud in my ears. So much so that you can't ignore it. It invades and just interferes with everything that you're trying to do. It's constant. The fan, I don't know if you can hear it going in the background. It's called white noise. Some white noise does affect it and help improve it. But the main thing is I want to get into what causes it. And it's working around these hot rods, these open headers. You probably saw in last week's video where I broke this engine in. I had in my hearing protection. I know now, after having been around this stuff for years, that you definitely want to wear your PPE and protect your ears. That engine I did back in December, very foolishly, I did not. I did not have in my hearing protection with that, around that open header engine break-in for 30 stinking minutes. You want to avoid the loud noises as much as you can. It can and will affect you down the road, and it is maddening. Wear your PPE, protect your hearing. I want you guys to be around this hobby a long time and healthy, okay? I know some people scoff at the hearing protection and all that stuff. This stuff's not a joke, man. What I'm suffering with, if you're trying to sit quietly in a room, or if you wanted to sit and quietly read a book, or whatever you're trying to do in a quiet setting, it's maddening. So now let's get in and get on this thing and talk about what we're doing. Okay, so what we are talking about today is our throttle valve cable, our TV cable, which affects when and how the transmission shifts. You can see it right there. And basically what I had done was try to adapt the existing TV cable with an aftermarket bracket that I bought to try to make a TV cable work properly. But I don't know if you saw in that video where I drove down the driveway and then took it for a very, very short trip down the street, which was just a block and back. It wasn't even really a block and back. If you're not familiar, TV cable controls when the transmission shifts, how much pressures the clutches have when they apply, and all that. This transmission should, I think they say it's between like 17 and 20 miles an hour, somewhere in there is when you should get your 1-2 shift. This one is shifting out about 10 miles an hour. So it's telling me it's not being pulled, or it's not the right geometry or something. This TV cable is not working correctly to put the correct amount of pressure on that throttle valve in the transmission. So if you're not putting enough pressure on the throttle valve in the transmission, what will happen is when it shifts to 3/4, it will allow it to slip, and it will burn this transmission up. It will burn out either 3rd or 4th gear, or both. So we will not be driving or test driving this thing again until I have that sorted out. That is the most important thing we're doing right now. So I have purchased an aftermarket TV cable, and let me go get it pulled in here, and we'll discuss it. Oh, and of course my neighbor decides to fire up a chainsaw. It's okay, it shouldn't be too loud. All right, this product is an ATP product. It is an automatic, I believe this is automatic transmission products. I think is what it was originally known as. It was originally known, I think, as Pioneer. So curious, I'm here near Jackson, Mississippi. This product is made in Meridian, Mississippi. Well, they have it made, but the parent company is in Meridian, Mississippi, and they used to be Pioneer transmission products. So I'm trying to put all these pieces together, and I'm thinking that Pioneer has become ATP Automotive. Not sure of that, but that's kind of what I'm speculating. Anyway, moving along. I was looking on a few different YouTube videos to try to get some kind of idea about the cable and maybe something I was missing, and I came across a video, Monster Transmissions, and they talked about a universal adjustable cable that they sell. Well, like, okay, all right. So I got on Rock Auto, my favorite website, and got to looking, and whoa, hello, cable popped right out of the box, so be careful. They offer a universal cable just like Monster Transmissions does, and it's extendable so that you can get your length correct. And you take and just simply tighten this jam nut right here to the body, and it probably has some like a little collet or whatever in there to clamp down to keep it locked down in place. But it adjusts by just sliding in and out, and that affects the length of your cable. You can see there, moving it on this end. So this cable from Rock Auto is $17. Pretty good price. I did not price what Monster Transmissions is getting for theirs, but this cable is $17 from Rock Auto. All right, so when I ordered this cable, I did not notice and did not see in the description of the product that it actually comes with the end that you need to attach to the carburetor. So I bought one, an ATP, and they call it the detent cable end is what the product's called. I did not know that I did not need to order this separately, and there it is. It attaches to the cable corrector I have on this Edelbrock carburetor, and to attach the cable end to the carburetor. I think I've said that twice. But I've said all that to say this. This ATP shift cable comes with one. Let me get the packaging here. It actually comes with one right there in the packaging. You can see it right there. It's got some other cardboard pieces in here. I'm not exactly what these are for. I'm gonna have to get into the instructions and read. It comes with a couple of different links and linkages. I'm sure this looks like the one, this rod looks like the one I believe that goes inside the transmission, and you have this style here, which I'm not sure, but I'm thinking it may be the style for a 200 R4. You know, I've got to dig into this stuff and see exactly what's what, because this cable is designed to work on, I think, the 200 R4 and the 700 R4. So we got to figure this part of it out. And I'm not sure what these little paper templates are for. So we're gonna have to dig in here and see what we can figure out. Probably not gonna be able to take you underneath the truck and show you about taking it out and putting it in, but I do have a transmission sitting out here on the ground that I can get in and show you where this TV cable goes and how it attaches. And I hadn't decided if I'm willing to take it off and risk spilling transmission in my driveway or not. I may do that, I may not. I haven't decided yet. Well, this is called the Real World Garage. I've been doing a little work off camera, just trying to get some stuff done. Let me bring you in here and show you what happens in the real world when you're building a car. All right, so one of the things I've been doing, I went ahead and I took the spark plug wires off the distributor cap out, and well, I'm adding some longer studs to this adapter plate right here. This was an adapter plate because this is a spread bore intake manifold, and well, we have the Edelbrock square bore carburetor. No, it's not ideal, but that's what we got, so that's what we're going with. So let me just sit you down here real quick, and let me show you what's going on and why I talk about this segment. Wait, where's the gasket? It's not stuck to the carburetor. Forgot to put the gasket on. I mocked this carburetor up, was getting the linkage and all stuff done, and I forgot the gasket. How did it run that good? I don't know. All right, well, let's talk about where we're at. I have the TV cable installed onto the transmission. I'm just going to tell you, there is no good way to get under this truck with a camera, a light, wrenches, the tools, and where this is trying to install a TV cable in chassis is damn near impossible, and film it. So I have a transmission, the one that came out of this truck, out here in the driveway. I'm going to risk spilling transmission fluid in my driveway to show you what you're looking for. So let me go out here, get it uncovered, and grab a wrench, and I'll take you out there and show you. What you're looking for is this right here. It's right behind this servo cover. This is I don't know which servo it is. Not a transmission rebuild guy, but that is your throttle valve cable right there, and it's the 10mm head, and we had a little water in the tarp, so let's get some of this is a good transmission. Don't know how much life it's got left in it, but it was in the truck, taking with the 4.3, taking my son back and forth to work every day. This very transmission carried my son on about a 1,100-mile road trip. He drove out past Austin, Texas from central Mississippi. So we serviced it, and it's been shifting just fine. TV cable tightened up on it just a little bit, snugged up, and it had a pretty smart shift to it. We're going to take this bolt out right here, and a lot of the fluid has been drained out of this transmission all over the floor in the shop when we pulled it, and it just, I don't know how much it's got left in it. I do know that if it's got much left in it, when I take this out, it's going to leak out, so I'm going to be ready to shove it right back down in there. Let's see. It's going to bleed everywhere. No, it's low enough. And there we go. And I may have to take the one I did a little while ago back out. The seal, I thought I could just slip it on here and then shove it down in there, but and that may be something I have to redo. But let me zoom in. Well, that's your little arm right there. This little piece that sticks up, that is hooked to the TV valve, throttle valve in the transmission. Now, see that right there? It'll focus. There we go. See that? It's got a little hole in it. That little hole just goes over, well, goes onto that little arm, like that. Okay? And then you can take your, this is where several hands come in handy. You put it over the arm like that, and then you slide your casing back over the top of it. And the fact that the casing is going over the top of it, actually what holds it on. There we go. I'm pulling the cable on the other end. Yeah, that was my problem with getting my seal in earlier, and I'm going to have to redo the throttle valve on the truck. I was thinking I could put the seal on and then push it down in the case, and I've got it in there, but it ain't right. So what we're going to do is take it back out, and we're going to do it like I'm going to show you on this one. Things you learn as you go. You take the seal. Come on, little seal. You try not to get it caught up in your little rod. You poke the seal down in the transmission. Come on. All right. Hold it on tension on the other end, and then you slide it down in there. You put the seal in the transmission case first, and then slide this down into it. You don't try to push the seal down in the transmission with it on the cable end. Real World Garage here, learning with you as we go. Just riding the struggle bus. So what's the old saying? We do it right because we do it twice. All right, here's the thing. Take the rubber grommet that comes on your new cable and slide it into the hole where that little rod sticks out of first. You have to put that seal down in the transmission and then slip the housing of the cable through that hole. This in-chassis replacement, it's tedious. I'm just going to tell you, if you're not real good with your hands, you're going to fight. I'm good with my hands. Been doing this a long time, and I fought. Had an assistant up here, up top, to take, and once the cable's on the little arm in the transmission, they pull this and apply pressure. Well, every time she would pull it, it would slip off the arm. So what I ended up having to do was hold the little cable end onto the arm, little rod that sticks out of the transmission. I take my two fingers and hold it together, and then take these fingers and I grabbed the housing and I pulled the housing down. Okay, it was just tedious. But once you get the housing to slip past where they join together, the housing itself is what keeps the cable end from popping off the little arm inside the transmission. So you can hold it together long enough and pull the arm down, you're good to go. You're golden. Okay, so we've gone through the trouble and have got the TV cable installed on the carburetor end. Took a little fiddling and doing, but we got it done. There's no slack in that. When you pull it, it ratcheted out about 4 splines out. So that is the first time I've been able to get the cable to actually ratchet out like it was supposed to, so that when we're at full throttle, it is holding that TV valve so that you're getting maximum pressure. All right, we are going to move on, and what I want to show you is what I did with the wrap on these headers. So let's get set up, and I'll get you over here and I'll show you what we did. All right, so here's one of the completed headers we've done the wrap job on. My son wanted to wrap these headers, and the header kit, I think, comes with these. It's like stainless steel zip ties kind of deals. I believe there's a special tool you're supposed to use. I don't know. We actually did get them to lock kind of in place, but after you cut them off, they got razor sharp edges, and they're just kind of expensive. Just be honest, they were kind of expensive. So I started looking at a way to try to hold this heat wrap to these headers that was a little bit cheaper, and I came up with a twisted mechanics wire, kind of like you do safety wire, similar to the way you do safety wire on an airplane. Of course, this is not airplane quality at all. I'm using a regular pair of pliers and not a pair of safety wire pliers, but it works pretty good. I've got another header over here that I'm still working on. I've still got a little bit more to go, and I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. All right, first thing we got, just a regular old pair of pliers and a pair of side cutters right there. Just a basic pair of side cutters, not a wire. It comes in a big spool. Most automotive part stores are going to have this. It's just, I call it mechanics wire. That's all it is. Mechanics use it to spool up, tie up mufflers, exhaust pipes, something loose, flopping, dangling on the ground. All good mechanics have a roll of this somewhere that I know of. It's a roll to get me by, get you off the side of the road for sure. So anyway, let's get her set down here, and I'll get set up, and I'll show you how I do this wrap in a couple of places. First thing I'm going to do, stuff's cheap, so I'm not worried about worrying about how much I'm using or wasting. Just cut off a nice little section of it. Get my header up here, and try not to rub this stuff all over you too much. I was itching the other day because I wasn't real careful about how I was rubbed up on it. And I take and I wrap it around a couple of times. Sometimes if I have a little piece of wire left over, it's not quite enough to do 2, I will just wrap it once. But I've been trying to wrap it a couple of times. Just give her a little twist like that to hold it, and take your pair of just regular old pair of pliers. Cut that off at a little bit long right there, getting them in the way. Snip that off. Just give her a nice twist. You can kind of feel it when it starts tightening up, and then it's tight enough on the, and you're going to hold good. And I just cut the loose ends off, and just tap it over nice and flat like that. Kind of gives that rat roddy vibe, and holds this stuff on pretty good. So we'll do one more section. I'll put one right here, and let's get to it. Let's get a piece of wire measured off here, or guesstimated off. Gotta do a little more because you're wrapping 2 pipes. Wrap it around. Looks like I got way too much, but that's okay. Get it where you want it. Give it a twist. Come on now, lay down. There we go. Hang on to that piece. I can use it over here on another spot. There we go. And pull it around there good and tight. All right, looks like it pulled up nice and tight. Snip those off, tap it down, and there it is. Now I got to do that at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. About 10 more times. This pipe's getting close to being done. Hopefully this stuff helps. It's a DEI exhaust wrap. Got it at O'Reilly's, I'm pretty sure. So, all right, let me get to work. All right, well, there we go. That header is all finished up. The other one has been finished for a little while now. So let's bring you over here and we'll show you where we're at and what's going on and what we got left to do. You can see right there, I've got it run up to the carburetor. We bought a braided covered fuel line to help protect it from heat and all that good jazz. This header on the passenger side will go in without removing the plugs, but on the driver's side over there you have to take the spark plugs out to remove the header. So I should be able to reinstall these headers now and be the last time, and after that then I can start looking at redoing the plug wires and the plug wire holders and get those set up so that hopefully I don't burn another plug wire. Well, guess what? We get to pump the brakes again. Me and my infinite wisdom, forgetting the order of operations here, well, that right there. Control arm bushings. This thing has got to have a set of control arm bushings before I put the headers on. I was tightening the last bolt on the header over here when I realized that I forgot that we needed to do the control arm bushings. So I get to take that driver's side header off one more time. It's not actually that big a deal, but we have at least gotten some things accomplished. We do have the TV cable done. We have the throttle cable installed. We have the return spring installed. I got a couple of heat shields installed underneath so we can start getting ready to finalize on the exhaust. And, well, we've started routing and figuring out where we're going to put our fuel line. Some days I think this thing is trying to beat me up. I think it's trying to whoop me. Just a matter of not quitting, just keep pushing forward. It's taking me longer than I wanted it to take me, but I'm also not following David Freiberger's philosophy. I'm not just trying to get it running up and down the road. I'm trying to get it right to start with. When I give this truck back to my son, I want him to be able to get in it, pop the key in, crank it, and go. I don't want there to be any kind of problems. I already know that there's a good chance there's going to be, a bunch of minor little problems that crop up with any fresh build. But I want to try to have as much done and make as much right as I can before he gets back in this truck. So, while I'm working on these control arms, why don't you go out and watch another video coming on the screen right now?